If you ever tried lifting an object or a person inside water, it is much, much easier than outside. Have you guys felt it? Or if not, if you have taken an empty mug, try to stuff it in or push it in the water. Of course, not letting water in. Basically, if you try doing that, the water will push back. All these are nothing but your examples of, yes, buoyant force. So we have studied this in detail before as in previous grades. So let's look at with this 11th grade perspective or 12th grade perspective, higher grade perspective. Okay, so let's start with the statement. The upward force exerted by any fluid on any immersed object is called as buoyant force. And the magnitude of this buoyant force will be equal to the amount of weight the object of the fluid the object has displaced. Right? So let's look at a free body diagram. Say we have a container kept in some liquid. Okay. So this is inside a liquid. Now we know that it will experience force. So we have, quite a few, basically 6 places it will experience perpendicular forces. Let me change the color. Let me use white, I guess. Okay. So we have downward push, sideward push, then push over here as well. Then we have push over here and things like that. So all this are the forces that we'll get to experience, right? This box experience basically, and of course here also. All the surfaces will experience perpendicular force, provided the liquid is at rest. So all these are rest case static scenarios. Now, what will happen is if we look at each of the forces with the counterpart, that is for the up, down is a counterpart, for the left, right is a counterpart, for the forward, the backward is a counterpart. What happens? What we get to see is the side ones, the one which is on the left, right, forward and backward, they cancel each other out. Okay. So the pressure, it keeps increasing, yes, but at the same time, other end also, the pressure keeps increasing. Okay. So basically here, pressure in each layer is same on both ends. The left, right, they will be same, and what happens? This leads to them cancelling each other out. So this leads to them cancelling. Each other. Okay, that's good. What about this? There's one more force which I didn't mention, that is your gravitational pull. We have done all of this actually. So the pressure at the top is less pressure. This is your weight. And this is your buoyant. Okay, sorry, someone was there at the door. Yeah. So this is your, I was able to tell buoyant force, but this is your upward force as of now. So here there is more pressure. Let me express in terms of pressure. We'll go to buoyant force, but yeah, this is the basic picture. So this has to be more, only then it will be able to compensate the less pressure plus the weight, right? So the logic now. An object in a fluid will experience pressure on all the sides. The force exerted on the side will cancel out, while the pressure at the top will be less than the pressure at the bottom. So there is an unbalanced force, and that is your buoyant force. Only if you separate those two, it will be your buoyant force. Okay. So if something is floating, then the buoyant force plus will be equal to the difference in the pressure, difference in the force from the top and the bottom, plus the weight of the object. Okay, guys. So I don't know if I made sense to you guys. Anyways, I'll be explaining that. We'll be doing numericals basically. So, but why does this happen? See, the funda is quite simple. Water tries to reoccupy the space that the object has occupied. That's it. Right? So, even water is trying to go to its least potential energy state possible. Anything, if I drop any object from particular height, what happens? It will fall. Because this is at higher potential, this is at lower potential. As simple as that. So the water, if I do, take a cup of water and if I tilt the cup, what happens? The water will pour out. So why does it pour out? Because this is at higher potential, down and down and down towards the center of the earth is things are at lowest potential. So obviously we'll try to go there. So when I try to introduce an object in its space, what happens? It will try to push back. Of course, it's pushing from everywhere, but the force at the bottom will be much more than at the top. And if it's floating and all, that math we have already discussed. So you just have to know that the pressure at the bottom will be more than the top, and the difference will give you your buoyant force. As simple as that. Okay, so the math is quite simple. I will do the math in the next video. For now, you guys can, a lot of things to draw. You can remove this. Yeah, you can copy this.